Greetings and welcome to a special Christmas episode of Morrowind Modding Showcases. I'm your host, Dark Elf Guy, and today we're doing something just a little bit different. We're taking a look at a bunch of old classic and, some also strange and peculiar Christmas mods to try and bring you some Yuletide cheer. Admittedly, this is, a bit on the late side. And as a full disclosure, we have showcased some of these mods in the past, but I thought it might be fun to, gather up a number of Christmas mods in one episode. Though this is by no means a complete list of Christmas mods. I overlooked quite a few, I think, when making this video. But anyways, you can find all the download links down in the video description below. And I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. This video is airing a bit later than I wanted to. I originally wanted it to air on, Christmas Day itself. But, a couple days later, that's not so bad. Hopefully you'll enjoy this little Christmas special episode of Morrowind Modding Showcases, and we're going to start things out with one of my all-time favourite Christmas mods, Granny Claus's Christmas Gifts by Korana, and this mod adds a new sort of wintry Christmas compound just south of the Skull Village on Solstein. And, I believe we first showcased this mod way back in one of the Solstein-themed episodes back in the mid-30s or so. And it's a truly, beautiful and magical place to visit with some, snow-covered cabins, strings of Christmas lights, giant lollipops and candy canes, not to mention reindeer pulling Santa's sleigh, and I believe, each of these reindeer are named after their, Christmas tale counterparts. So you have, Rudolph and all the rest. I honestly forget most of their names. And, this place has always kind of reminded me a bit of back, when I was a kid and my parents would take me out to drive through these ritzy Christmas-obsessed neighborhoods in the snow. Those kind of neighborhoods. Every town has at least one. And that kind of magical experience of all those, Christmas lights and decorations. Obviously, this mod isn't quite that elaborate, but either way, it's a, fun sort of Morrowind version of that experience, including a tree lot out back where you can harvest trees to take home and decorate for yourself, so your house can, truly have that Christmas touch. The inside of Granny Claus's house here is also just, beautifully decorated in that traditional Christmas manner, with a large tree in the middle decorated with ornaments and candles with presents underneath, a roaring fireplace and, Christmas wreaths, and, Granny Claus herself there to give you a hot brew to warm you up from the cold outside. There's also a classic Christmas feast, lining the table here, with Christmas-themed dishes and mugs, not to mention a ton of, Christmas-themed music when you first enter, and a cozy little library in the back. I have to say that Korana has always had a way of creating some truly beautiful, cozy and atmospheric interiors that, you wouldn't mind living in yourself. But that's not all, of course. This is Christmas after all. There's also a ton of presents, both underneath the tree and by the door for you to, collect, and each one has a variety of new items for you to play with, including Christmas wreaths, ornaments, lights, new outfits, and a lot more, so you can, take Christmas with you no matter where you go. And next up we have another classic and personal favourite, Holly and Ivy's Holiday Shop by Wesley. And this mod adds a small and mysterious snow globe to the Mages Guild in Wolverine Hall that will, take you to a dark and snowy realm, which of course isn't very large, it's just some wintry landscape and a small shop with a few of these, snow bunnies, just hanging around here and there with, some lovely pine trees. And inside you'll find Holly and Ivy's Holiday Shop, run by these three here, who each have an assortment of holiday goodies for sale. Here you can buy Christmas-themed armor, some new weapons, and lots of different decorations from full-size Christmas trees to ornaments, and just, tons of fun little items to decorate your home with, or, add to your collection, including pots, lutes, crystals, drums, and a lot more. And here you can see a ton of the new items, and there's a wide array of Christmas trees for sale, about 16 in total, I think, coming both with and without Christmas lights, as well as in pink, silver, blue, and a ton of different other colours. So if you're feeling up to it, you can, manually attach a bunch of, different ornaments to your trees, with over a dozen different varieties available. And of course, there's everything else, a lot of which is, fairly normal decorative stuff that you can find in an assortment of different styles and colours that you can use regardless of the season. And of course, one of the things I really love about this mod is that you can, just place these Christmas trees pretty much anywhere. So you can make your own little Christmas tree forest out in the world somewhere to really capture that festive Christmas feel, like say in the middle of the Ascadian Isles region, or even if you're feeling up to it, in the middle of the Ashlands region. Devil knows that place could use a bit more of a festive feel. Moving on, I thought we'd check out one of the newest Christmas mods we released, Snowing in Morrowind, a Christmas mod by TheDrunkenMudcrab. And, I actually delayed this video a bit to look into this mod, since it only just came out on Christmas morning, I think, a few days ago. And basically it transforms all of Vardenfell into a beautiful winter landscape of snow, more snow, and yes, you guessed it, even more snow. It really doesn't matter where you go on Vvardenfell, everywhere is a winter wonderland, whether it's the Sheergorad region, or the Ashlands region, Malagamur, the Red Mountain region. All of it is now covered in snow. So you can walk through, snow-covered streets in Balmora and avoid slipping into the frozen over Odai River, get off the boat and see into the unusual sight of a snow-covered, swamp city, as the entire Bittercoast region is experiencing its first ever snowfall, and I'm sure the mudcrabs and Fargoths are, probably quite confused by all this white stuff, just covering everything, and head on over to Plesiad to see the Ascadian Isles region covered in, you guessed it, yet more snow. And while this is by no means a lore-friendly mod, it is actually a lot of fun to explore Vvardenfell covered in, all this snow. There's almost a magical element to it, seeing the familiar landmarks we all know and love peek out at the distance from the foggy snowstorm you're travelling through, along with the snowy terrain. And not even the Ashlands or Red Mountain have been spared from all this snow, as you'll find towns and cities like Margan just covered in the white stuff. And again, I actually really like the Ashlands covered in snow here. There's just a certain beauty to it all that, just works well with the greystone and dead trees of the Ashlands. Though at the risk of getting a bit on the Silent Hill side with the vibe sometimes, do keep an eye out for, any strange, bloodied pink bunny monsters or pyramid heads. And, as a side note, I'm almost fairly certain someone released a pyramid head mod for Morrowind at some point. So that may actually be a real risk, depending on what mods you have installed. But anyway, while this may not be quite your lore-friendly cup of tea, and may not be ideal to be, permanently included in your save game, this is a really great, simple, and fun winter mod that transforms Vvardenfell into a beautiful, massive, snowy island that's perfect for a romp through the holidays to get you in the, holiday spirit, and I'd recommend checking it out. And for our next Christmas-themed mod, we're taking a look at Christmas Manor by Xpan. This is a fairly nice-sized Christmas-themed house mod out in the middle of Solstein, which has a fairly large compound here of built-ins with a string of Christmas lights outside. And, this probably looks familiar to most of you, since we did just showcase this mod back in, I believe, episode 50 of Morrowind Modding Showcases. That wasn't, terribly long ago. But anyway, inside you'll find a beautifully detailed main dining hall with tables surrounding a large decorated Christmas tree with presents underneath. And this is just a wonderfully cozy and warm chamber with that, sort of fairy tale Christmas spirit charm with, lots of tables set up with a beautiful Christmas dinner and strings of lights dangling from the ceiling. This is just one really lovely Christmas banquet hall where you can, have all your companions gathered for one large get-together. And upstairs you'll find a fairly well-furnished set of rooms, including a main commons hall, a small library with a few books, a storage closet, and, something to note here, there's actually a few presents hidden all over the manor, adding a bit of a treasure hunt element to this mod, and a lot of them have, some interesting items in them, along with, little Christmas cards, and in any event, there's also a master bedroom naturally, very cozy and modestly well decorated, as well as a guest bedroom, and you'll notice there's a lot of, coloured Christmas lights throughout the entire house. And the property does also come with a set of guest quarters located in a spare building, where you can house a ton of companions and NPC staff if you so desire. And there's also a small kitchen, which is often its own building as well. And that has, a small kitchen in it that's, mostly cosmetic, really. But all in all, Christmas Manor is a lovely and charming estate, and, definitely worth checking out for the holidays. And up next we have The White Wolf of Lokken Mountain, and Christmas at Lokken by Emma, Teutonic, and Princess Stomper. And yes, I know, Lokken Mountain isn't technically speaking a Christmas mod, but it is one of the, I would say, best snow and tundra landmass mods out there, with a great quest line, and I don't know, I personally always love playing the White Wolf at Lokken Mountain during this time of year. Something about the village and the landscape that's, so similar to Solstein, yet creatively different, and so, fully detailed with wintry cottages, lighthouses, and forests, that, just really appeals to me. There's just some things that are better when it's cold outside, and personally, I think this is one of those mods. But more than just that, of course, there's also the Christmas at Lokken add-on that adds a ton of Christmas decorations to the interiors at Lokken Village and up in the castle as well, such as, stockings in the houses and Christmas wreaths, strings of lights in the castle foyer, and a Christmas tree and festive drinks in the throne room, and there's also one in the tavern as well. And, it all really does work pretty well together, and while the Christmas add-on only adds a few decorations here and there, this is still a fun mod to play over the holidays. And, our next mod is kind of an interesting one, A Merry Christmas Party by CMK. And this is kind of an interesting mod that maybe could potentially also be a slight spoiler, I don't know. Point is, this mod transforms the party that was going on in our Daedrith in vanilla Morrowind into an actual Christmas party, with a massive Christmas tree in the middle, a number of new NPCs, and tons of Christmas decorations. Most of the NPCs also have, a ton of new dialogue as well, and many of them will give you Christmas presents, which range from, small unique items to Conberry wine, and, useful little trinkets. And it should also be mentioned that this mod is potentially unbalancing. Some of these new weapons that you get as presents are really powerful, and are probably better than a lot of the weapons that you can get until about level 15 or 20. It's a bit hard to say, since Morrowind doesn't actually use a lot of level content, but point is, that's just, something to note here. But anyway, there's a ton of new food here, of a small Christmas banquet, dances, and, a really festive atmosphere in here. And, some of the new items that you can get as Christmas presents are kind of amusing as well. Like, just for an example, a pair of bunny slippers, one of the most embarrassing gifts that you can get, added to Morrowind for you to keep your feet warm here in, Resdayn. And you can also, see one of the new swords here that you can get as a gift. And, just real quick, we're going to, zoom up close to the bunny slippers here because, they are a rather amusing addition. And anyway, moving on, we have Christmas items by Tommy Kajit. And this mod is pretty simple. It merely adds a Christmas amulet to your inventory that, when you equip it, teleports a chest full of Christmas goodies right next to, where you're standing. And of course, the chest itself is, sort of Christmas themed. And, I've gathered all the new Christmas items that you can get from the chest, and, you can see them on display here. And there's about a couple of dozen new items in total, including Christmas-themed candles, napkins, mugs, and plates for you to use in your own homes, to lend, a sort of festive air to your meals. And it should be noted that the textures here are obviously not to the highest quality. This mod did come out in 2003 after all, so, that's kind of to be expected. And they also kind of look like a lot of those, sort of plastic Christmas plates that you saw in stores a lot back in the, I think it was the 1990s, at least to me anyway. There's also a slight misspelling on some of these objects, but if you don't mind all that, this might be a nice addition to your, dishware collection. Next up, we have another small mod, and this one is Santa Claus's very own red Zipfelmutze. And I do apologize if I mispronounced that. It's a very difficult German word, and I did look up a pronunciation guide, and I'm still not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. But anyway, this mod simply adds an NPC at the Odai River in Balmora, who claims to be one of Santa's elves. And through a series of dialogue exchanges, you can get one of Santa's own red hats for yourself to wear. And here you can see my character wearing this new hat, and it is a pretty simple and, straightforward Santa hat for you to wear around Vvardenfell to get you in that sort of Christmas mood. And, there's nothing quite like bringing the pain to all those, bad little bandits out there and Six House cultists while wearing this, charming little festive headgear decoration. And moving on to one of our last Christmas mods, we have Christmas Fargoth by Dementia Warrior. And, well, this is a very simple mod to say the least. It merely adds a Christmas Fargoth to the bridge outside of Balmora, complete with a Santa hat, and, also some new dialogue talking about Santa, and a cliff racer, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Cliff Racer. That is, the famed winged pest that once saved Christmas and became Santa Claus's, favorite sleigh racer. And we do have just one more small mod in our little Christmas collection list here, and that's Christmas Tree 2015 by Crankorilla. And this mod simply adds a Christmas tree, complete with decorative lights, to the market square in Balmora, along with, tons of little packages underneath, many of which are locked and will require breaking into if you want to get them. Which, I have to say, isn't exactly in the Christmas spirit, but that's a minor detail, I suppose. And anyway, that wraps up everything I wanted to cover in this episode. I do apologise for how late this video is. I had wanted to release this on Christmas Day, but, the best laid plans and all that. And anyway, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and I wish you all a Happy New Year and a Happy Holidays. I'll see you all in about another week with another episode of Morrowind Modding Showcases.